Welcome back, and thank you, Jenny Horn, for that report. Let's bring in our panel. We want to talk all about Qualcomm, which is really impressing investors and JP Morgan. Nathaniel Bradley's with us, CEO, Data Vault Holdings, and Mies Schneider, Director, Trading Education and Research over at MarketGauge.com. Thank you both for being with us. Nathaniel, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on this JP Morgan call, adding it to the focus list on Qualcomm. They certainly think there's something very attractive about Qualcomm. Do you agree? What is it that you're watching that they're saying?
Yeah, I absolutely do agree. And I think it's a great call just in terms of next year. And if you think about our own behavior, your own behavior and what we do on a daily basis, it's moving towards mobile, and mobile computing is moving into more and more areas. So it's device diversification, their ability to dominate mobile from a pedigree of having a standard where they've worked with and have connection and connectivity into the mobile ecosystem. And as we go mobile, and as things like smart meters in our energy sector and the myriad of things that we do on a daily basis that are moving to mobile computing, it fits perfectly into the Snapdragon strategy of Qualcomm. And QCOM is a great stock because of what it delivers to the shareholder, is both this financial performance that we're seeing where the revenue numbers up, stocks at an all-time high, but you have this headroom that's caused by really our adoption, the economy surging back, and these phones just being central parts of our lives.
All right, that was a good setup here. So we're seeing the stock pull back a little bit right now. You can see it down 1.25%. Mies, you're watching some of the key levels too, saying, look, some things come back down, but what are your thoughts on what you're seeing here and the key support and resistance levels on the Qualcomm trade?
Well, looking at the chart, yesterday it made an all-time high. And generally, you want to see some level of either continuation or consolidation at that point. And yesterday's low was 183.11, and right now we're trading $2 under that, which could mean that we're seeing some kind of sell the event or reversal stick. And that doesn't mean necessarily the end of the move, but it could give you up to about a 10% drop, which would be a great buy opportunity. So in terms of levels, right now, 175 has sort of been the bottom of recent congestion until it made its all-time high. And if it holds there, great. But if not, I would actually almost prefer to see the stock down closer to 160, where now you have a much more controlled risk reward. And at that point, considering all of the fundamental changes and everything that Nathaniel pointed out, it would probably be a very good buy opportunity. But there are headwinds too, let's not forget. As a tech company, we do have an interest rate sensitive environment here. And with growth stocks being all the rage for the last couple of months, we're seeing a little bit of a transition back into value. That is something to keep an eye on too, technically and fundamentally.
And I think that's a great setup too, and when we look at this, Nathaniel, when you look at this, tell me about the broad shift that we're seeing here from JP Morgan, right? The shift on the call, it says shuffling his stance on networking and hardware stocks and suggesting investors shift their focus to networking and away from hardware stocks. How much of this is pandemic related? How much of this is demand going forward? Because that's what we got to sink our teeth into, the demand going forward.
100%. And they're spot on with the focus on network. Network is giving us this tremendous connectivity. QCOM happens to have a standard pedigree, meaning that they had a standard in every cell phone, and they had a standard in the industry. Now they're smart enough to see that the shift from hardware to network, things like serverless code systems, high-end security, we're finding that these having single devices or having servers at all in some cases is not necessary, and also enters a vulnerability for mid to small size companies in particular. So cloud-based computing is requiring us to connect. There's other connections like smart meters and other things that are happening, even vehicles and other things that are becoming more smart. So it's really this incredible ability that they've had to transform their company from being such a plugged-in standard base on the hardware side to now see this mobile connectivity, experiential becoming such a big part of the strategies of many different industries moving forward. And they have a laser focus on mobile experience and creating the absolute best mobile experience and communication. And that has to do with software and connectivity and really high quality connectivity.
Right, right. So part of it is all things digital, internet, 5G, all the growth that we're seeing, as you're saying here. And Mish, you're also watching the comparison in price to earnings ratios and looking at valuations of a name like Qualcomm in comparison to someone who might buy Qualcomm might be the same investor who likes NVIDIA or Apple. When you look at the valuations, what strikes to you, Mish?
Well, one of the things that I really like is, and something that I've had difficulty with in chasing some of the big performers when they get too lofty is because of the valuations, is that Qualcomm is still trading at a discount in terms of its price to earnings. And that's a good thing because you're not getting into something that's terribly lofty. And I just want to add, their turn also into the automotive space is compelling because if I take off my trader hat and I put on just my consumer hat, I would have always associated Qualcomm with Apple and the mobile space. But the fact that they're getting more into the automotive sector, including a deal that they've made with BMW, and more into the Internet of Things, and that whole idea of diversification, again, and now if I take off my consumer hat and put on my trading hat, is really good information.
Yeah, so automobiles. Last final thought here, Nathaniel. Is there anything else on your radar, similar or different, that we should know about?
Well, just in terms of QCOM, one of the things to watch is just the resurgence of our businesses and the use of mobile apps. Mobile apps are enabling companies of all sizes to do amazing things. And you see crypto also forces us into connectivity. And as some of those technologies emerge and kind of get out of their infancy and into more consumer adoption, I think you see QCOM being explosive in 2022.
Understood. And you talk about apps. Well, hey, we saw Instagram, 2 billion users, right? So we see the growth.
Huge.
It's nice to see you both very much. Mish and Nathaniel. Nathaniel Bradley, Data Vault Holdings, Mish Schneider, MarketGauge.com. Thank you both. Great look there. And thank you, friends, for joining me here on the watch list every single weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.